I'm not against the SEP IRA. I just think there are a lot of other retirement plans that you should consider first before looking at the SEP IRA. And the reason that is because there was some changes specifically with the Secure Act of 2019 that went into effect over the last several years that made other retirement plans more attractive than the SEP IRA. The other reason I'm making this video is because I've seen a lot of other videos talking about the SEP IRA as the plan for small business owners, independent contractors, 1099. So if you have a side hustle, 1099, you could put money into these plans, but they're leaving out the fact that these changes have made other plans way more attractive. So I'm gonna go over some of those in this video, and it's the reason I'm making this video. So in this video, we're gonna talk about 6 reasons why you do not wanna use the SEP IRA. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Number 1 are the contributions. The contributions are only employer funded. Now, this might be okay if you're saying, hey, I only want to contribute a little bit of amount into a small business retirement plan. It might work out for you. If you have an S corporation, it's going to be 25% of your compensation. Really easy math. If you are a Schedule C filer, it's a little bit more complicated. I have videos on that, and it is going to be based on your net profit minus 1/2 of your self-employment. It basically comes out to your net earnings from self-employment is what it's called. So you could do up to 20% of that. Now, it's still 25%. So if you're seeing that, you're getting slighted somehow. You're not really getting slighted. It's just the way the math works out. It's still a rate of 25% across the board, but that is the issue. That is only employer funded and nothing on the employee side. If you don't have any employees, it's not a big deal, but it kind of is if you want to save more. And we're gonna get into that. You're gonna see that as we go through this video. Number 2 on the list, catch-up contribution. They don't exist with the SEP. So if you're 50 or older, you can't do a catch-up contribution like you could with a 401k of $6,500. So no catch-up contribution. So if you want to save more, 50 older, you can't do it with the SEP IRA. Number 3 on the list is the contribution rate. It is going to be the same for everybody. So if you have employees, you're going to have to contribute the same percentage as you do for yourself as you will for them. So the max is 25%. So if you're doing 25% for yourself, let's say you make 100 grand, 25%, $25,000, easy math. $50,000 for your employees, if that's what their compensation is, then it's gonna be $12,500. So not the same amount, but the same rate, same percentage. So if you choose to do 10%, you're gonna have to do 10% for your employees. And that is across the board. You can't change that. There's no other way. It's set in stone. So not ideal. Again, it's not something I really like to do because of that issue. And you're like, well, do I really wanna have these employees because I'm gonna have to contribute as much to them as I do for myself. So number 4 on the list is your contribution depends on your compensation. So here's where we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen so we can look at this together. And here we go with the different plans. So I have here an example of someone earning $100,000. So that could be you, right? $100,000, and I have the SEP, the solo, and the simple. So with the SEP IRA, if you're an S corporation, it's 25%, so that's the max. So that's $25,000. Schedule C filer, that's gonna break down to $18,587. If you really wanna know this math, if you really wanna understand it, I have videos that I literally go through every line on how to calculate this stuff. Schedule C filers, $18,587. So solo 401k, we could do 20,500. That is gonna be the employee side. We can do a profit sharing contribution of 25%, so that's 25,000. And then we can do a non-deductible contribution of 15,500. We can get the full $61,000 in there. And by the way, that is the max contribution if you're under the age of 50 of $61,000 if you have an S corporation. If you're a Schedule C filer, that same math will still work out to 61,000. It's just a little different. So you're still gonna do the 20,500 as the employee, and then you're gonna do the 20%, which is similar to this one, 18,587, and then an additional non-deductible contribution of $21,913. Ending with the simple plan, you can do up to $14,000. Now, the simple plan is an employee and an employer funded plan. So as the employee, that's $14,000, $3,000 as the match, 3%. That brings it to $17,000. And then it's going to be a little bit different for the Schedule C. It's still the same $14,000, but this number is then $2,707, bringing that total to $16,707. Now, there are two things going on here that you need to pay attention to, and we'll bring it back up on the screen. Number one is the plan that you can get the most money into at $100,000 is the solo 401k. But number two is that your contribution is directly tied to your compensation. So even though at $100,000 we're able to get these amounts and all these different plans, this amount, the $20,500 for the solo 401k, if I earned $20,500, I can contribute $20,500. With the SEP, it's limited to 25%. So I just showed you an example comparing 3 plans to show you like max funding on $100,000, but that is directly tied to the amount of your plan compensation. Same thing for the Schedule C filer. But with the solo 401k, you could do that $20,500. Same for the Schedule C filer. You can even do this 14 and 14 for the simple IRA, up to 100% of your compensation. So that is a huge win if you want to keep your income low. And why would you want to keep your income low? If you were in an S corporation, then you can just do distribution and you can lower your self-employment tax at the same time while max funding your retirement plan. So there's a ton of benefits. Schedule C filers, you can keep that compensation as low as possible and still get as much bang for your buck as possible at even lower incomes. That is why I like the other plans over the SEP IRA. And then the next one we're going to talk about is number 5, and that is the Roth. There's no Roth. You can't do a Roth contribution. You can't do a non-deductible contribution. You can't do a Roth side or a non-deductible. So you're missing out on that. Now, you could do a Roth conversion, but that, again, is going to increase your taxes. Not really something that you want to deal with if you want that balance. And, we want that Roth money in there. The Roth IRA is good. I do a ton of videos on the Roth IRA of why you shouldn't just use the Roth IRA. You shouldn't. You should balance it out. But you need the Roth to balance it. You also need the pre-tax, and that is on the solo 401k and the simple plans. So you can't get that balance. Yeah, sure, you could do a Roth IRA. You're still eligible if you're eligible. You could still do the Roth IRA, but that brings me to my last point, and that is point number 6, and that is the pro rata rule. The pro rata rule. If you go to your Roth IRA and you earn too much money, you have to put the money in as a non-deductible and then convert it over to the Roth IRA. Well, in doing so, that IRA calculation ropes in the SEP IRA. So what that means is you have to do an equal portion. So it's going to jack up your taxes because you're now going to have to convert dollars from your SEP over to the Roth in order to get that non-deductible contribution all the way into the plan. In fact, you're going to have to convert your entire SEP IRA and all of your pre-tax money if you want that non-deductible to get in there. The solo 401k doesn't have that. So even if you have a traditional IRA, you can roll it into your solo 401k, get it out of there, and then you can do your non-deductible contribution. And then if you have the solo 401k, you can also do the same thing, but you do not have to worry about the pro rata rule because it doesn't exist with the solo 401k. So if you want more Roth money, don't use the SEP. And really, I didn't even put it on here, but as a bonus tip, tip number 7 is the fact that you can open and fund the solo 401k. And I think that is one of the biggest facts that people don't realize, that you can open and fund the solo 401k up to your tax filing deadline, including extensions. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you using a SEP? Are you thinking about switching to one of these other plans, or is this stuff that you didn't know about previously? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.